Good evening. You are tuned in to KRFP 90.3 Moscow, Pullman. We are Prosers, a literary chat show starring MFA students in the creative writing program at the University of Idaho. I'm Jason.
And I'm Catherine.
Typically, we have another person here named Ross, but he's out living up spring break in Boise, so he is absent this week.
We miss him.
Yeah, we miss you, Ross. Anyways, it's like that was like a bad transition. It's going in anyway. Next week, though, on Prosers, we have the venerable Kim Barnes. If you don't know about Kim, she is a professor at the University of Idaho. She also wrote 2 memoirs. In the Wilderness is one, and another one is Hungry for the World. And Kim also has written 3 novels, Finding Caruso, A Country Called Home, and In the Kingdom of Men. She will be on here next week, and that is a show you are not going to want to miss.
It should be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be
very intense. What's a warning?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome and intense. Why would you say intense?
Because Kim is very intense. She goes straight to the heart. She doesn't cut around.
Nice.
You know.
That's good for radio.
That's great for radio.
Great.
Especially listeners who are just tuning in.
So we're getting a fax right now into the office. It's kind of crazy.
What is that?
I don't know.
We never get faxes into our show.
Yeah, it never gets faxed.
I didn't know that machine worked.
Yeah, it must. Here.
Okay, see.
Can you hand me the paper?
Okay,
Catherine?
hold on.
All right. So this fax just came in. Oh, it's actually addressed to Ross.
Perfect.
Wow.
Not even here to hear it.
So Ross, again, he's the guy who typically is our third co-host of the show Prosers, and a fax message just came in. So I'm just going to read.
All right, you want to just read it out loud?
Yeah, I'll just read it out loud.
Okay.
Let's see here. Dear Ross, when I got the news that you were heading home for spring break, I broke down and cried. Yeah, I totally get it, that students like to visit their friends and family, but who needs friends and family after what has bloomed between us the last so many months?
My God.
Or last week even. Remember last Monday night, Ross? How you said you hated Mondays, and then I shrugged, and then we made out. That lover's kiss. What is going on?
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know if you had any idea.
I don't know what's going on.
Who could this be? Keep reading.
It's eagerness. It's fierceness. You trembling in my arms as I guided you home to the student apartments.
That's where he lives.
Yeah. Aren't I beautiful? Aren't I pretty? Hell, am I even okay looking? Sure. I may not be as big and glamorous as Boise. And that's where he's at right now, right? He's in Boise.
So, yeah, he's in Boise right now.
But I offer you stores like Hastings and Ross. Ross, oh, how that store will never be the same. And how about that Gambino's? Yummy, good pizza.
I think this may be the town.
Hold on, let's see here.
Okay, I don't want to say anything too early.
Do you even love me anymore? I gave you my heart. And what do? As soon as spring break rolls around, you hop on the first bus that opens its doors to you and you leave town. Look around, I tell myself. There are thousands of students to choose from. But in the midst of crowds, I remain in solitude. The memory of your delicious, poison lips shoot through my streets. My heart aches, Ross. It aches for you, for me, for us. Maybe you will never return, and this nightmare love affair will finally end. But I'm sure you'll be back this weekend like all the others. And as much as I want you to hold me and cuddle me to sleep, a part of me wants to tell you, it's too late, mister. Find another town to destroy. But I cannot. You still fascinate me and inspire me. Anyway, I hope you had a wonderful spring break. Sincerely, Moscow, Idaho.
Wow.
So
I had no idea that was going on.
So him in Moscow?
It was Moscow. It is.
They're in a relationship?
I don't know. It sounds like Moscow wants it to be a relationship.
And then he left, and it's kind
he
of.
he just left. I'm just really blown away. I wanted to. It's like, but now that you read that letter, I had no idea that Moscow could feel that way about just one person.
I didn't.
He must have. They must have had some moment that we couldn't have even have expected.
Well, I know. Well, I know he's a passionate man.
Did he tell you about it?
I thought he was a single guy. To be honest,
He kept saying, "Oh, great."
But,
he kept saying he was single.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I mean, it's obvious that something really serious was going on.
Yeah, it's weird because now that I think about it, when I
yeah, go ahead.
Whenever we I always drive a lot, like all over the place here, and he never.
Yeah, point A to point B.
And he never wants a ride. He's all into walking. He doesn't like.
Oh my God! Yes.
He just wants.
Oh my God! Of course.
So he's just going for long walks with the town, and.
Of course.
Well, we got to think about this.
Oh my God.
In the meantime, we're gonna play a little song for you guys, and we'll be back.
I hope they make it work.
I hope so too.
I could totally see them being just like an awesome couple.
Definitely. I think that it's meant to be. From this letter, it sounds like the town is just in love with this guy. So
he needs to look and see what's right in front of him.
And with that note, we'll be back. Welcome back to Prosers.
Hey.
Extended jam tonight.
Oh, this is nice. This is like a nice way to kind of mix it up.
Yeah, spring break edition.
Spring break for casual kind of good timers out
forever. There. So, anyways, Catherine is a third-year nonfiction student at the University of Idaho, a 3-year program in creative writing.
That's what it is, yes.
And she made it. She made it, guys. She's almost done.
I have a little longer to go.
She's got about 3 weeks left.
Until I have to turn something in that's big.
And that's pretty much it. And I just want to know, so Catherine, do you have any, how was it, your initial reaction when you came out to Idaho? Do you have anything to say about that?
At first I was going to say, Jason, that was 3 years ago. I would never remember that far back. But luckily, I actually right in front of me have a couple. Yeah. I have. You didn't even hear what I said yet.
I feel like I know what you're gonna say already.
Okay. I have just a couple little email excerpts from my first semester here.
That is not what I thought you were gonna say.
That's what.
But I'm pleasantly surprised that it worked out.
I'm glad
from how we introduced it.
So I have a couple email excerpts here that I sent friends, telling them how life was here. And maybe if I tell you, you'll get some perspective that things can change from your first semester.
Yeah, because
Jason's a first year, second semester.
And I'm really scared.
You're going to be really different. Okay, so here's a little excerpt. I think I wrote this to a friend. And
this is your first semester in grad school.
Well, school is okay, pretty rigorous. I'm putting too much time and soul into my lit classes. They are so freaking difficult, and I am so determined to prove myself. This doesn't sound like me.
I hear you on that.
Debating the merits of psychoanalysis versus deconstruction, scanning poetry, Alternatively, I'm putting a lot less effort into my nonfiction class, so that's good. Boy, how things have changed. This is not the Catherine that I am now. I have lost. I will say I have lost the desire to prove myself. That it's like that gas will only run for so long.
So you no longer.
And then you realize it's no longer satisfying.
So you just
to feel that you're proven.
Mm-hmm. So you don't care about, you're saying proven as far as the essays? You thought you had to put like these amazing essays out and prove that you were like a great writer?
I think in terms of the lit classes, I wanted to prove myself intellectually.
Yeah.
And
I don't care about that right now.
And I think I wanted to.
I've given up and I'm not that intellectual. I've accepted it.
That's not true. You put so much work into those way too much work into those literature classes.
So let me just give you an example then to get wrap my head around this. So your first year, then, how many hours would you put in? Or were you reading all the material of lit class?
I was reading it all.
And then your second year, you kind of threw it out the window?
Yeah, and I also signed up for much easier lit classes.
All right.
And just the motivation has come from, like, the motivation can no longer be from a place of, like, I have to prove myself to my peers.
Yeah.
That is like, nope. Like, no, I don't get a high from that anymore.
That's good. Well, I think that's a positive thing.
That I had a lot
you
of
used
like
to get highs from that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I think that drove me for a while, and now it's hard to find motivation.
Just not in the lit classes, but just in the writing in general?
Yeah, it's hard to find that motivation. Besides just wanting to complete something. But I feel like I've done as much work towards these topics I'm writing about as I want to. So
you like the structure of the school almost helps you then? Or of the classes?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But so I've just kind of been on my own on the open seas here for a little while.
Nice.
Okay. So, the next part of it is briefly about the people.
All right.
People are nice. A girl helped me scan my poetry, and the teachers have pretty endearing, funny personalities. I don't know who I'm talking about. The students are a little dry, though, but they're nice. I don't know why I said the students are a little dry. Yeah. Because as you get to know them, they were all just wild and super colorful, and like
maybe you were dry and you were maybe putting your own. Maybe you weren't.
I think I came in thinking like. I think I had just come off doing a lot of improv with really goofy people.
Yeah, so
to come in where people were more reserved, or even people who ended up being kind of the most wild people biggest personalities I've met. At first, they seemed in control in a way that I thought was like boring or just like lame.
Yeah.
Or like, I was like, yeah, they're nice, but like they don't know how to work their personality, which was so silly and so dumb that I thought that.
Is that all that was on that part?
I also noticed that when I was going through my emails from that time period, and I realized that my first semester, I like had at least 4 or 5 people that I did like play-by-play emails to.
All right.
And that those people, I would email at least weekly. There's like about 3 or 4 of them I haven't talked to in like 6 months or longer. The people I was giving play like week by week.
What happened there?
It's just
the emails got dry.
No, that wasn't it. They were very colorful. We just moved into different places, and they just invested in people back home, or it just like I still talk to them somewhat, but it didn't.
Were you upset about that?
A couple of them I was sad about.
Because you're like, they really know how to write a good email. Because you're a big emailer, right? I
am still a pretty good emailer. And they did, but I think our interest and our, in curiosity about each other's lives,
just
like
faded.
the day-to-day, it just, you just can't sustain it if they're not a part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I have had a couple really good friends that I maintained the friendship with, and we even got closer.
That's good.
So, I don't know if you're going to take the same course as I did, but just giving you a little perspective.
I have a lot to think about.
I can't wait to see your self-discipline and motivation just drain.
I don't think it will ever go away.
I don't think you will either.
I feel
you're like totally, you're motivated by forces that I am unfamiliar with.
I just feel like I'm learning more of things that I don't want to do, like in life. I feel like that's really And the energies that I'm focusing here are necessarily going to be how I'm focusing once I'm done with this. I want to focus, like, there's millions of things that I would want to be doing besides reading, I mean, some of that lit stuff or doing some of the other things. I mean, there's tons of authors I'd want to be reading, tons of just way other things that I want to be doing.
Yeah, it sounds like being here is making you full of longing for things you didn't realize that you had interest in.
Yeah, but it's good because you also, being here gives you that, like, that base foundation of sort of, I don't know, I feel like it's good to, like, know that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, to go back and learn about Freud and Derrida, which I always called Derrida, and people would, do you know who that is?
Derrida, yeah.
Yeah. I used to call him Derrida, and I'd say...
Like before you came here or when you first
No,
started?
when I first came here, I kept messing up his name, and it sounded like, I don't know if I told you that.
Doritos.
Yeah, it sounded like an old person saying Doritos, like, give me those Doritos.
That's a great way to say his name.
Dorita. That reminds me of like an old person just saying Doritos, but they're saying Doritos. So anyway, I'm sure everybody changes, and I'm sure I'll have some sort of change. I feel like I've changed already a little bit from what I've had, but...
So I'm curious about the way I've changed since I started writing.
Yeah.
Which was in 6th grade because I was not out of choice, though, out of being forced to write. I would have never written.
Your parents or by
school?
Oh, by school.
And in 6th grade, we had to self-publish a book.
So you're self-published?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
I'm self-published.
Oh, she's got the book.
I have the book right here.
It's got a cover and everything.
It has a cover.
Pages are binded.
The name of it is called Bittersweet Blood with 3 exclamation marks. And blood is all in caps.
And the book's the size of like a piece of paper. And it's one of those books that...
8.5 by 11.
Yeah. It's one of those books where you would see in grade school where the teachers would read...
It looks like a picture book.
And it has pictures.
It's a picture book.
Awesome.
And there's shelving. There's looks like there's open, what do they call it? Like open shelving. It's very trendy.
Oh, yeah.
There's open shelving or exposed shelving with what looks like a salt shaker on it. And it's pouring out blood instead of salt.
Jeez, this is a grim tale.
It says a little bit about the author. She's 12. This is her first published book she has written. She hopes to write more exciting tales, in parentheses, such as this one, in I think it's the THW, in the future.
All right. Just a sideways E. Or W.
Yeah, it is.
There's a wrong side.
E that's needed to take a nap.
Yeah.
And I dedicated the book to everyone who is special. And I thought, it's obviously, you know how long... Oh, it's published by my own publishing company named Stuff Happens Publishing Company.
That's a good name for a publishing company, actually.
Yeah,
It is, for real. I mean,
no, I think it's good. All of my Microsoft Words
were published by Stuff Happens.
No, you know how when you first get a Microsoft Word, they're like, what company or individual does this belong to? Mm-hmm. Anyway, I would always put Stuff Happens Publishing.
Nice.
I will keep that name. Anyway, I'm going to see if Jason would like to read you...
Yeah.
Like up to chapter 2. That sounds like a lot, but you know.
Right. You don't have any big words in there, right?
There's long words, like the word la. So you have to make sure to pronounce every A. Like there's screaming in it.
Should I read this any specific way?
Read it as though, I mean, it's like a scary teen romp.
All right, so that's okay. So it feels like a book. It's very impressive for a project, for one. This chapter 1 has a picture that says Sunnydale, 14 miles, And
That was ripped off of probably Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And it looks like a very pleasant afternoon. And I have a feeling if there's blood in the salt shaker, there could be blood
Don't be
elsewhere.
fooled, yeah.
Chapter 1. Hey, you've got to get into the groove. Oh, you've got to move.
You have to sing that part.
The
Sorry, I'll let you.
the radio sang as me and my sis, Joanna. That's it, right?
Yeah, Joanna.
Joanna were lip syncing to the magnificent song. Now, galley gals. I want to hear some of my music, Mother said as she reached down towards the radio buttons. My sister and I stared at each other, lipping, oh no! The next thing I heard was, la. We both covered our ears. Why did she torture us like this, I asked myself as I glared out the window. Oh, sorry. Let me introduce myself. I'm Christy, and my sister, Joanna, Mother, and I are heading towards Sunnydale, Minnesota. Boy, that was fun. We are actually moving there from Indiana. My mother got a divorce from father, so we moved. Just the three of us. Though I've heard some pretty scary and spooky things about Sunnydale, but I'm not scared. Then we have a nice picture of my crazy family, me, Joanna, Mother, and Dad. It looks like he's in a pic. He's not with the family. There's just a picture of Dad just kind of hanging out above the family. And on the next page, there's a picture of the car that seems to be driving to Sunnydale. Joanna reached in the front and briskly shut off the radio and said, in the newspaper, the Sunnydale Express, it reads, death rate goes up, oh no. Then Mother said, it's okay. No, Joanna stated, an average of up to 65 a week. And then we have another picture of Sunnydale Express. The average murder rate's going up. It looks like they're saying the temperature may be going up, but then there's a question here, is it murder? And there's another missing girl, and there's a picture of her. She's got blonde hair, and she's got big lips, and looks like she's wearing lipstick.
She is.
And yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of murders going on in Sunnydale. Next page, chapter 2, moving in. After 10 long hours of restless driving, we pulled up to our new house. It wasn't actually ours. It was our grandfather, but still new to us. I tiredly stumbled out of the van while Grandpa Joe was there to greet us. As I straightened my body out, I ran over to Grandpa Joe and gave him a big hug and a kiss. Grandpa Joe, we are so happy to be here. I can't wait to see the sights. Don't go too far. There are nasty creatures looking around at night. Grandpa Joe warned me. He was crazy and a joking kind of man. I didn't believe a word he said. Yeah, Gramps, whatever you say. And there's a really nice picture of the grandpa, and he's wearing a shirt with that says, my grandkids love me, and it has Joanna on one sleeve and Christy on the other. And then on the next page, there's a girl saying, whatever, Grandpa. Continuing on chapter 2, I walked past him and into the house. It was old, but very bright, and looked like someone who loved hunting. Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe followed behind me, and then pointed to my upstairs living quarters. I went up into the clean room and placed my heavy baggage on the floor next to the closet. Home at last, I sighed as I fainted on my plainly dull-looking bed. This grandpa doesn't know how to plane beds. And anyways, after a few minutes of relaxation, I lifted my body towards the suitcase. Guess it's time to unpack, I told myself as I grabbed my overloading suitcase and plunged it on the bed. I unzipped the sides as a bundle of clothes were exited to breathe the cool air. As I folded up the clothes, I heard an ah! My head rose briskly as I said with a giggle, probably another death. Thank you.
That was just a preview. Kind of left everybody on a cliffhanger.
It left me on one. I need to know what happens.
You will learn soon enough. but not on this radio show.
Well, thank you for that, Catherine. And with that said, we're going to take a break. We have a song that's just right for the kids. So keeping this kid-friendly. We're just going to...
6th grade friendly.
6th grade friendly. That's the new motto of this radio station. But we'll be back after this song. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to 90.3 KRFP Moscow. This is a special edition of Prosers with Catherine and Jason. Ross is out of town. His unexpected lover, the town of Moscow, is mourning and very confused about his departure. We learned this earlier tonight from a fax we got in. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of still letting that sink in a little bit. Jason and I are trying to make sense of it.
Yeah,
we really want it to work out between them. We think they'd be a super adorbs power couple. They could both be very powerful together. So, to continue on our laid back beach style spring break long form jam this evening, Jason will now read you some of his work. Take it away.
Yeah, this is just a nonfiction piece that I wrote. I have a website, babushkaheaven.com. I could say that right.
Yes.
Anyways, before I came out to Idaho to study fiction, I worked at a grocery store, and this is just a little short piece about me being a cashier called Basket Ploppers. A basket plopper is a customer who plops his or her grocery basket on the conveyor belt and stands there staring at the cashier like an idiot. I do not claim to be that intelligent, as I do not know many facts that I should probably know. I don't know the years of major wars, all the state capitals, or anything like that. I've tried to know this sort of information, but it doesn't seem to take. My brain is mostly occupied with the small annoyances in life, such as someone talking too loudly, or someone standing in the middle of a doorway, or someone plopping his or her grocery basket on the conveyor belt and standing there staring at me like an idiot. I have this internal annoyance button that is constantly being pushed whenever I interact in society. I literally can't go 5 minutes without pointing out some societal flaw. Most people seem to have a profound lack of common sense, self-awareness, and respect for others. I believe one must possess all three qualities in order to be a decent human being. Some people believe that kindness and positivity alone, that was like a positivity, like not... All right.
Keep going.
Some people believe that kindness and positivity alone makes someone a decent human. These people are wrong. Take basket ploppers. Sure, most of these people are probably kind and positive, but their lack of common sense, self-awareness, and respect for others makes them complete morons. To further explain myself, I will now dissect the basket plop. First, the plop. Do this. Have someone plop something in front of your face. Plop food, plop a book, plop clothes, plop anything. The point is, the plop is not a friendly gesture. No one feels good after a plop. Even if someone plopped a sack of cash in front of me, I'd be thinking, did you really have to plop? Second, the stand and stare. How about instead of standing and staring, try unloading and helping? This is a great opportunity for one to practice teamwork and equality by unloading his or her items from their grocery basket and setting them on the conveyor belt in an effort to assist the cashier. However, thanks to corporate philosophy on customer service, customers are oftentimes encouraged to stand and stare down at us, employees, like kings and queens while we do all the work. Also, if you want another in-home exercise, do this. Stand and stare at your significant other while he or she cleans the toilet and see how they react. Third, the empty basket. Empty baskets are typically set near the front or rear of each register lane. If you do not see a designated empty basket area, feel free to ask the cashier or return the empty basket to its original location. Leaving the empty basket on the conveyor belt for the cashier to deal with is not appreciated. If you haven't noticed, the cashier area is very small. There are no secret empty basket compartments back there. There is barely enough room to stand. People who do not understand these concepts should not be running loose in society. In fact, they should live out the remainder of their lives in giant steel grocery baskets. If I possessed common sense and self-awareness but had zero respect for others, I would probably be a serial killer, and if I get caught, I would be sent to prison, or possibly sent to the electric chair, or maybe, if I'm lucky, given a lethal injection. What I'm trying to say is that when people lack one, two, or all three qualities, common sense, self-awareness, and respect for others, they push my internal annoyance button over and over again. I am just as frustrated with basket ploppers as I am murderers and loud talkers and doorway blockers and big head wearers and two-car lane parkers and loud babies and everyone else in this world that seems to lack total comprehension when it comes to life. I don't necessarily know why these small annoyances tend to occupy my brain, just as other people probably don't know why they can remember the years of major wars and state capitals and other factual information that deems them intelligent. The only intelligence I seem to have is an awareness and ability to explain why certain behaviors, like basket plopping, tend to drive me insane. When it comes down to it, basket ploppers continue to infect society. Eradicating this terrible phenomenon takes more than kindness and positivity. Individuals must also possess common sense, self-awareness, and respect for others. In addition, corporations must stop saying things like, the customer is always right. Can a world without basket ploppers exist? Yes. Will a world without basket ploppers exist? Highly unlikely.
Wow, Jason. That got really political.
I'm a pretty political writer.
I wish I had something to plop down in front of you right now. Like this pen.
Yeah.
I don't want to make you angry.
Blood pressure's rising. But yeah, that's kind of like what I write when I write nonfiction. I have a problem with writing about work. I'm trying to not write about as much as I typically do.
Have you worked through some of it by writing about it?
What do you mean? Work through some of the talking about work?
Does it make you more upset? Did ploppers make you more upset, or did you feel like after you wrote that you sort of like, did it fade or dissipate?
It takes a little. It fades a little bit and dissipates.
Yeah, some kind of the worst of it that has that tight grip kind of loosens just a little bit.
Well, you want to ask a customer. It's like, don't just plop your basket on the thing and just stand there with your arms crossed. It's like, take the items out or just do something. And then they just sit there, and I'm not allowed to say what I want to say to their face. I have to go home and type up this stuff because it drives me. It's so insane. It's like, well, someone's gonna hear this. Someone's hearing this.
Yeah, there will be like some degree of justice.
Yeah, and that's in my mind. I'm like, well, I wrote about it. I put it on a website. People could see it. That justice has been served in my mind.
So I had a similar situation at the register at the grocery store, but just to kind of turn it on its head, the customer, felt frustrated.
Really? I love hearing customer complaints. Yeah, I'm a great...
So this was interesting. I was very patient, and I'm very good at deloading my basket.
All right, nice.
I also make sure to put things where the heavier stuff is in the front.
You're
I organize
for the
because
bagger.
I kind of know some
You're
of the
bag
procedures. The cashier did what they were supposed to do and went through all my stuff, and there were two baggers at the end of the line. One looked a little younger than the other. And then something interesting happened. The senior bagger then did not start bagging my stuff. He just said to what looked like a trainee bagger, start bagging.
Yeah.
And then the trainee bagger fumbling with stuff, trying to do the best he can, opening my bag. It just
it's an art form.
And then he was trying to get all this stuff in there, almost to the point where I was saying, no, you don't have to worry. He tried to get this huge bag of oranges, like of 12 oranges in there, and I wanted to say, no, just put that in the cart. I'll take that, but he was taking instruction from the senior bagger, and neither the senior bagger nor the cashier, even though I had a lot of stuff, were going to help him bag.
Well, it's like...
So I had to wait extra long. I could have helped. I help people. When it's bagging, half the time I'm helping the bagger.
They're throwing you to the wolves in these jobs. It's like people who think, oh, yeah, it's like... They're judging him. They're grading him. They're seeing how he does it, how he messes up. Is he going to overbag? Is he going to underbag? Is he going to get the the cans on the bottom? Is he going to put the eggs in the right place? They're watching his every
So you're
move.
saying it's for his own ability to survive
If
as a
he can't cut it,
bagger.
he's
It's
on the
tough
street.
love.
Tough luck, kid. See you later. You're not cut out to be a grocery bagger. Go find something else to do, and they'll be like, see you later.
I guess I just got caught in the middle of a quote-unquote learning situation.
Yeah.
And
So you wanted the guy, you wanted the supervisor.
I felt like I took sympathy on the kid, and I was like, do we all have to watch him? It feels like we're all really judging him. He'll learn. I don't know of any bagger that doesn't want to get the formula down, that doesn't take some pleasure in getting a bag full.
Yeah.
Like, that'll come naturally. You don't need to.
Don't get me wrong. I 100%.
that.
I don't 100% agree with you, but that's just another one of those things where it's like a grocery store. It's like you work at this stupid job, and they treat it so seriously to the point where they're not going to help someone. It's pathetic. I mean, but that's literally how they see it. They want to be like, well, he has to learn. He has to mess up and learn. It's like, just help I'd be the same way. Just help the guy bag.
Yeah, and just like because sometimes they feel a surplus need to bag everything or to make sure certain things stay out, and they don't need to go over the top to make sure I get my every need met. I'm really okay. Just see what my needs are. I'm really okay with you stuffing that extra paper towel roll underneath you can stick that in the basket. I'll carry it. It's fine. Like, check in with me. I'm low maintenance.
On that note, I could say I could devote this whole we
need to quit this while we're ahead.
I could devote this whole show to bagging, and I could tell you about the customer, the expectations, when the customers start telling you what to do or their guide. It could be a long discussion, but we're just going to...
We have to end it there.
Yeah, we got to end it there. We'll be back.
We'll be right back after this
Stay
song.
tuned. We are back to Prosers. Jason and Catherine in studio for an extended jam session dedicated to spring break, and...
We love you, spring break.
We love you, spring break. And we're saying, Ross, I don't know if you heard that, Ross and Moscow are in a relationship. It's
it is
really
official. Well, maybe not. Maybe not.
There is major conflict going on.
We're saying it is. We're on Moscow's side.
Yeah, we're on... Wait, we are?
I'm taking that Moscow's side.
So you're saying Ross shouldn't have left. He should have...
Man up, Ross.
Yeah, stay with your woman next time. Jeez. Or,
man,
maybe it's Moscow.
It's ungendered.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Either way, we're back in studio, and Catherine she changed during the song, and she put on her poet scarf and beret, and
my poet glasses
and the poet glasses, and she actually
and my poet earring, just one.
Yeah, the one cross earring that she's wearing. And she's got a poem that she's going to read, so we're going to hear that. So I don't know if you want to set it up anyway.
I'll set it up. I'll introduce myself.
Right.
I'm kidding.
So did you write this? When did you write this?
So I wrote this poem when I was in a prosody class here, and prosody is a class that you can take. It refers to the rhythm and syntax of language, but mostly deals with metered verse,
all right.
Mostly poetry. So this is a couplet. I believe that's what it's called. I hope so. That I wrote, but to kind of get your appetite whet, WHET. For my poem, I had heard at readings here that poets are supposed to read other poets before they read their poetry.
I've heard that as well, yes.
It's a little silly, but I kind of like it. I wish it existed in prose.
Really? It'd be a long show, or the long reading for those prose. So
okay.
You have a little
So this
poem?
is a very short poem. It's by Ogden Nash. It's called The Ketsup Bottle.
With a C?
Yes,
right.
K-A-T-S-U-P.
Oh.
The Ketsup Bottle. First a little, then a lottle. So that was the first poem.
That was it?
That was it. Poems don't have to be
gee. How
long.
people
Don't
get
you
away
love
with-
that poem? First a little, then a lot.
Yeah, I love the fact that he's making money off that. That's
That was one of my favorite poems of all semester.
oh, I could tell you like a million poems. Like,
There's an art to it.
there's not an art to that. I have to say no on that. First a little, then a lot. It's like, get out of here with that. Give me a break. It's like
It sounds like bottle. A lottle, first a little, then a lottle.
I don't care.
Because it all comes out of the bottle really fast.
I shouldn't be.
You
dissing
should.
the
I
person.
thought that
don't
would
know
make you LMAFO.
I'm LMAFOing the fact that he's getting paid off that. And
I don't think it made him a lot.
You're writing like a 5,000 page or word story, and then it's like some guy writes "cats up" a little blottle.
Well, that's not how it went.
He did a little
obviously.
wordplay.
Anyway, hey, if it works, it works. Whatever you can get away with.
right.
And it works for me. It was one of my favorites. Okay, so this one is a little bit longer. It's called Squirrels, and it's written from the perspective of a sort of odd, socially awkward, quirky, older man. Squirrels. I take in squirrels nobody wants. Lame Jean and Merle, his greatest aunt. His teeth ache from malocclusion. She's ill with senile delusions. The nurse, Luann's an Eastern gray. She cares for Merle to pay her way. I feed her child that ugly pup. My coffee, bugs, or old catsup. You see, I am a stand-up man. Sold the coupe to buy a minivan. They love to weekly shop with me, but squirrels let loose in groceries. Paulina eats a chicken leg. The store clerk shrieks, "Squirrelifus plague!" We ride on home. The car is silent. No squirreling around. Just act compliant. But they are squirrels. They're goddamn squirrels. The quiet breaks. Jean starts a quarrel and clucks with incoherent chatter. Just let me say what is my matter. I have a contagious disease that squirrels can love, but humans tease. I want Jean soup to keep me fed, for squirrels to tuck me into bed. I want old Merle to kiss my cheek. I want to say, but I don't speak.
Wow, now that's a poem.
Thank
That was
you.
a good poem. That was a lot of ups, lots of downs, lots of some rhyming in there. I've detected.
That was rhyming every two sentences rhymed with each other.
Let me see
That's the definition of a couplet.
Oh, really? That was nice. I liked the idea.
Rhyme.
Rhyme.
Rhyme A, B, B, C, C, D, D.
All right. Yeah, I didn't. It was cool. So
It's good that the rhyme was subtle for you. You don't want it to hit them over
I didn't.
the head.
Yeah, I wasn't overwhelmed by the rhyme at all. So what would you say? Like, it's for me, poetry is probably one of the hardest things to listen to. While not saying like my ears, it's just trying to like follow along.
So like your brain wants to like contextualize it or attach narrative to it,
Something,
or like
I don't know.
yeah,
But it's like you just kind of grab onto little images or
yeah. I
colors
think
or
that's what you
sites.
have to do. You have
Alright.
to just let the individual words sort of. You have to allow yourself a relationship with just the words alone, and not always what is for me. What's always before them or after them.
So for that poem right there, was that about something specific? Like what
This one,
or
well,
was there
this
like
one
a-
I feel like operated differently than other poetry because it had more of a narrative.
Yeah.
Although some of it might have been a little obtuse because I was just trying to rhyme and follow the. I don't know if there was like a metered. If each line had like a certain necessary amount of what they call feet. But it was about a man who takes in the squirrels that nobody wants, and they take care of him, make him soup, tuck him into bed, go grocery shopping with him, but they are always, causing always just like
Oh,
letting
chaos.
loose. They're being
Yeah.
squirrels. They're out of control.
Definitely.
And so this man then admits by the end there's just something they call a turn. They call a turn, and the man admits to the reader that he has a disease that humans tease, but that squirrels can love.
Yeah, that's a nice message.
And so that's why he is with them and craves them, because, you know, they accept him. And humans don't.
This may be a dumb question. Is there something and humans don't? Is there like nonfiction poetry and fiction poetry, or is it just
I've
all
always it's weird because I've
called
always
poetry?
I would say poetry is assumed
Fiction?
to be fiction. There certainly is a lot of fictional poetry in that you can write it from different perspectives or personas. Like, this is fiction because it's a man that has, this isn't me. This operates more like fiction. You don't know this guy? I know him in a deep part of my soul. But there does seem to be, and there is totally poetry that could operate completely like nonfiction.
Yeah.
It's almost just a difference of form rather than it is a difference between fiction and nonfiction. And there's lyric essays that can operate a lot like poetry, but are nonfiction.
Yeah. And then one last question before we take another quick break. Do you like writing poetry, or what are your are you gonna continue?
I'm still very resistant to it. I don't tend to trust my impulses with poetry. I really crave the structure that comes with typical essays that I write. I feel I'm really fearful of losing my audience. So, but it's helped knowing it has helped my writing tremendously, and I kind of have a secret burgeoning love for it, but I don't know how to quite manage it yet.
Yeah, that's one of those things where maybe
I'll learn.
You'll learn and take it on once you leave the institution.
Absolutely, yeah.
But all right, we will be right back after this break, and then we're going to have a longer session, which will take us home. So
stick around.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to 90.3 KRFP Moscow. This is Proser's Spring Break Edition. Casual. KJ and JS here in the studio. Ross is still gone to Boise, unaware of all that has publicly conspired with his mistress, the city of Moscow. Jason is now going to take it away with another short reading, and then we will continue to jam out. Jason?
Yes. Just going to read this quick piece, and then we'll be done with the reading, because I don't know how much you guys want to hear us read. I feel like we've read a lot. We have read a lot. I'm getting tired of reading. This is very quick, though, and it's kind of embarrassing, so it's kind of, you guys could...
extra juicy.
Laugh at me. It's not even... So I had this idea about a guy who... bought a convertible and became this other sort of person, and I was going to actually write a whole novel about this. But luckily I told some people about it. I probably could have. It would have been ridiculous, but I didn't devote the years.
I'm glad you stopped yourself.
Yeah. But this is just a little paragraph from this book that only lasted probably about 10 pages, and people are like, "Well, you're writing about a guy who drives a convertible? You're ridiculous." So it's called. I just have it called The Convertible Man. I became obsessed with convertibles after that. I bought up magazines, hung out at dealerships, and even started collecting those little toy convertible cars. My friends and family thought I was crazy. No one understood what I was going through. I absorbed all the negative comments and criticisms of those around me and used it to fuel my departure. I saved up a bunch of money from working part-time jobs, and a week after high school graduation, I emptied my bank account and took off. I got a good price on an orange 1976 Destiny convertible. It wasn't the prettiest thing, but it would do. I named her Deborah after a girl I had a crush on, but never asked out because I didn't want to break her heart. I don't know what that means. The guys at the convertible dealership wished me luck and told me my journey had just begun. And that's it.
Wow.
So this guy, yeah. That's it.
So, I was just kidding when I said, thank God you didn't pursue that dream of writing that premise further. Mm-hmm. But I was kidding.
But now you're not. They're hearing that.
No, I'm still kidding. I think it has potential. What made you kind of say, Jason, don't follow this any further?
Well, I just telling people, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to write about this convertible, this guy who was obsessed with convertibles as a child, and then he buys one. That's like the kickoff to the story, and he goes off on this adventure in this convertible, and it was just making fun. I thought they're kind of always cheesy convertibles, so I was like making fun of the culture of guys who like really like convertibles and dig it. Like I felt like that society is kind of interesting, and then throughout
it sounds like that's different from guys who just like sports cars, because not all sports cars are convertibles.
Yeah, this is like,
but this is not like the sports car dude. This is the dude who just really likes that the top comes off.
Well, it's like, the wind through your hair. I mean, that I probably wrote. It's like how much can you say that in a book? You could do like one scene where the guy's cruising with.
It's a motif that will be threaded throughout the novel.
The whole thing.
And you find his hair is, I would assume it's like thinning out throughout the novel, so that by the end he can't feel any wind through his hair because it doesn't exist. Yeah.
That would be a sad story.
That would be what they call a recurring motif.
I'd probably have him make every chapter would start, the wind blew through his hair as he cruised down the street. I would probably have him get a wig if he ended up not having hair, because he'd have to still get that feeling. It's like, even if he went bald.
Although with a wig, it's like you can't feel, right? You can't feel that.
But still,
he'd have to get it.
Feel it a little bit, tug a little bit. Cause
maybe if he got some sort of implant or a weave or something that it could work. I mean, like you'd have to rethink his strategies.
I think the wig would work. I mean, he could, because if you think of a wig, and if it's on your head and it's like sucking onto it, so it's like when the wind's, you feel a little bit of pullback. Do the really good wigs, I assume they like stick on really well. Yeah. Do they use adhesives? You probably could get some sort of, it could make it, probably there is some sort of
adhesive that just
spackle
really...
or something. It's just like spackle or whatever. Something.
I vaguely may know what you're talking about with that word.
Some cream that they just kind of lather on, and it just like,
it's like a little vacuum seal or something. Yeah.
There's got to be something, but I mean, for one thing, if you're a convertible, there was like, then I was like going to make a whole.
What about like a
rules.
soft? Does the convertible include like soft top Jeeps?
No,
where you can zip off
this
the
is sports car
top?
Convertibles.
Okay, you just didn't specify if it was a sports car.
All right, I'll go back and rewrite that in there.
I always wanted a soft top Jeep.
No.
With a roll bar.
Those I did want one of those too.
And did I tell you a deer? I always wanted a deer guard too. I assumed
up front,
like a grill. I assumed that I was just going to get one. And when I was getting my first car, it was kind of assumed, like I was like, yeah, but what about we were at the dealership or something. I was like, yeah, what about the deer guard? Yeah. And they were like, people don't ask for it with this kind of car. So
what? Your first car wasn't a Jeep though.
It was a Explorer.
Oh, but then they just said that people don't ask for it for that.
Yeah, nobody asked for like a big. Usually, it was like an Explorer, like sport.
Why did you need the deer guard? Just because it was like a.
Because I thought everybody had deer guards.
Were you mad about that?
I didn't think everybody. I knew people didn't, but I just assumed like all my family members did. So like, why? I just thought it was what a car needed to look good.
Were you upset that you didn't get it?
I I got over it really fast. I realized I probably didn't need it.
But what about the Jeep? Like, why were you upset? Were you fine with the Explorer, or were you still kind of longing? Are you still wanting?
I'm glad I didn't get like a Jeep soft top. I also wanted for so long I wanted a Mustang.
I wanted a Mustang too. I wanted
a Ford Mustang.
I wanted a
like
5.0.
a 90, like I wanted a 1995
like a 5.0,
Ford Mustang.
right?
I don't know.
That's like the 5.0 liter Mustang, and
it's just like the really classic one. The one I like had real classic associations with when I was
Really?
like 11. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same one, but it's like there's a whole. You could write with those cars. There's so many underground layers within, like the car. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
There's so many societies, like car societies, car shows. There's little groups, there's clubs.
It's a very layered world.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird
clubs,
people associated with it. Like they have their own jackets printed up, or people are like they'll diss your car if it's not up to par in their sort of standard of what they think. Or
it's a status symbol.
So then so it's like that. Add that to the book. There's villains involved. There's,
So who are the villains? What are the antagonists and stuff?
I had one of the guys' names.
Is it ever like a dealer, like a car dealer?
It could be.
I always find them to be just ridiculous characters.
Yeah. They could be. It could be anything. I haven't it didn't get to past that, but that was like the initial idea of it, or germ, or whatnot.
So did you find what I find different in this, what you've written, what you wrote, and your idea for this character is that it's like a much more absurd character than how you traditionally go. Like you like the more kind of, you like the kind of odd, but ultimately, and like curmudgeonly but relatable character. And like kind of down on his luck. He's a little bit of the underdog. So like people like relate to him very immediately. But this seems like maybe more of a risk for you to do the guy who's more cocky and looking to get, whose expectations are higher for life and is looking to get undercut and disillusioned.
Yeah, that was. I typically don't. I mean, I should probably try doing stuff more like that, trying to write stuff that's like, what do you think? Do you think that would be a good thing to do, or would that be detrimental?
I think that would be, like, just in terms of, maybe not in a novel, but like maybe something shorter.
Yeah. I like this line
it'd be good for you to
because I didn't want to break her heart. It's like, who is this? It's like
that's a great line. That might be my favorite line in that.
But it's like a girl he had a crush on, but it's like he's not even that cool of a character.
I love that he assumes that he's going to break her heart.
God.
Yeah, you're setting him up really well there.
Do you have any sort of projects that do you like want to work on, or any more fiction stuff that you want to do or not? Because I know you did some fiction.
Yeah, I do. And I have a character that is Geraldine, who I'm still, she's on the back burner. She's a similar character in that she is misinterprets, has crushes and romantic interest in guys, but totally misinterprets their interest. And thinks that they and would definitely be much more worried about her effect on them, even while they're in the process of rejecting her.
That's the character of the one story that you said where she's trying.
Yeah, like
diner.
They're in a diner, and she's totally fascinated by him, even though he's really kind of boring. He's a propane guy. I guess one detail about him is he likes to stir his iced tea with his his middle finger.
Oh, yeah. So he's
Um,
kind of a rebel on that end.
he doesn't think of it that way.
no.
He just thinks of it as a very practical way to stir
right.
his tea. He
Well, he's a
doesn't have
propane
to-
guy. It makes
He
sense,
couldn't
yeah.
imagine himself using a spoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then she imagines that he's a regular there, so she imagines that maybe some of the girls or waitresses are kind of looking at them and talking about them, and she says, "Oh my God," one of the waitresses she ends up feeling sorry for because she thinks, "Oh, too bad that this waitress has to look at us having so much fun," and she thinks, "Oh, the waitress probably has a crush on him and is just heartbroken to see us,
See them together and having such a
together
great
and
time.
having so much
Yeah.
fun, even though he is not enjoying it at
Yeah.
all. He's probably fine, but he's ready to get out of there."
What'd he do with his middle finger after he stirred the iced tea?
He definitely licked it.
He licked it?
Yeah, he put it in his mouth.
I was wondering if he licked it or flicked
Flicked
it.
it? No, I guess
Or if he like flicked it at her face and she's like, "Oh," and it's like, "Oh yeah, she's totally into me." Just flicked his.
Yeah, his character actually, when that story got workshopped, people were confused by him and thought he was an underdeveloped character. And
How developed can you make a propane guy? He sounds full to me. It's like a propane guy. He stirs his iced tea with his middle finger. I got it. It's like I'm good.
I think later you see that maybe he has more depth of understanding of her oddness, and I think then people were like, "All right,
Yeah.
calling BS here. Since when did he have an emotional center?" But I don't know. I don't know what fictional characters are. They're like fun, crazy extensions of yourself. You get to like put out there and see them
Yeah, that's what it's fun about it.
flounder and fail and like, but sometimes I'm exhausted by them and I don't always want to come back to them.
Yeah, definitely.
She is not. That character. I wish she would grow up a little bit. It's like almost like, oh, I'll like put her on the back burner, and then maybe in a couple of years she'll like come back and be a more evolved version of herself. Right now, she's like has the emotional intelligence of like a 7-year-old, and I think she's supposed to be 32.
Well, I think that if you gave her that, you lose. She's never gonna get to that level, right? Or
yeah, you're right. Just a little bit, just a little aging.
You just want her to like get like turned. It's like at least be 8 years old instead of 7.
It is just so fun. I do love characters that are, and I love when I perform them too. I love characters that are just so kind of positive and good, have real, and just really get really excited, feel pleasure really easily, and are just set up to be heartbroken. Those are the characters
But does she?
I love the most and feel a kinship with.
Does she get heartbroken by the guy if she's oblivious to?
She does, but it kind of comes in because she's only willing to kind of take it on a little at a time, and some of it you watch her deflect or try to reason away or try to explain. But it ends up that substance of what she wants it's still there. The consequences are still there.
Yeah.
It's still like her sadness is still finding her. So she has to find a way to be sad.
Well, if she run into this guy, the convertible
Oh my
man,
God.
he'd break her heart.
Yeah.
He'd probably take her for a ride, then she'd probably have the time of her life, and then he'll drop her off, end of the road.
She probably would think it, even if your character dropped her off, she'd probably think that she had a fabulous time.
Yeah.
At least for a little while.
She would. I mean, who doesn't love a convertible?
She would love a
And maybe if she got
convertible.
maybe
She wrote it in the story. She wrote in a pickup truck,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a blanket inside that she got super excited about. The blanket was to cover up holes in the seat,
Yeah.
but she immediately wrapped it around herself.
I know it would make her like freak out if the convertible guy's like, yeah, pick a song. And she had like control over the radio when she like that.
I think that actually would like overwhelm her.
Oh, too. She'd be too like, I don't know if I could.
Yeah, like, and then gosh, I don't know. You're like confronting her with something I haven't like expanded her character to know how to deal with that yet.
Well, we'll see what happens. So, anyways, like, how can we shift? So that's story. That story right there.
That story, and that's how it.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done. You just have these. I think for me, you just have these conversations with people and stuff that.
You're talking about like creating characters, or
Yeah, creating.
Yeah, definitely.
Or these people or scenarios that don't yet exist.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to kind of pretend they do for a while.
Yeah, definitely. So, what are you gonna do? So, what do I want to say?
I don't know.
Trying to. So your main thing though is nonfiction, right?
Yeah, my main thing is nonfiction.
All right. But you do it all. You've done poetry, nonfiction, fiction.
Yeah,
everything.
I guess I've done it all.
So do you feel like that? I guess because we're coming to a close here.
Yeah.
In a couple minutes, do you feel like that all helped you out then? I guess because I have only taken, like, I write nonfiction. Like that basket popping thing was nonfiction, and then I'm here for fiction, but I've never taken a poetry. But you said poetry, so it all helps. That's all. It's like I'm answering the.
It is neat. I mean, it all helps, but it helps me as much as like, I don't know if this is good to. It helps me as much as like doing other types of comedy does, or writing emails.
Comedy. Let's talk about comedy. That's like
Let's bring it around to comedy.
I was looking for something else.
Man, I had some really smart thing
did?
to say
Sorry.
about comedy earlier today, and I just totally forgot it.
So what about, where does comedy come into all this? You gonna go back and become an improv star?
Yeah, I want to go back and do that.
Are you gonna do something in Austin?
Yeah, I hope to do that. I actually feel very. At first, I was thinking, oh, they'll never. I left feeling good about my future there in improv, and returning back, I always thought they were never going to accept me back again.
Who, the teachers or the
community?
Oh, the
yeah, and a
community.
lot of new people have come up, and they've become really good, and
You have to start from ground zero.
I feel like I have to start back over again, but it'd be embarrassing to start back from level 1, but maybe I should do that. But yeah, that's kind of, it feels like that's the current frontier right now that I haven't, it feels unresolved.
So you feel that your MFA has resolved other things in your life then, or
Yeah.
that sort of
It's
chapter?
allowed me to be funny without putting any pressure on myself to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
The funny is sort of evolved in the background the whole time.
Yeah.
And people say that I'm funny, and I that's true. But it feels like it's totally out of my control. So to do it where it's front and center and pressure is on for you to be that is like really insane.
So you just feel that
and
it's
I'm
just
nervous about it.
Yes, but you said there's no.
It always feels like it's very secondary. It's in service of character or my own voice or my own dilemmas or thoughts and stuff.
But if the funny's there already, so that means you don't have to try. I mean, you just kind of have to be yourself and be true to the
and
characters that you're playing.
In terms of improv.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Even
no,
for
but that's
writing as well,
the.
Right? Like
but with improv, there is that extra. You have to make people. You have to make people stay engaged and laugh in the audience.
But it's mostly just by responding truthfully to what's said.
I know. Yeah, it sounds really easy.
It sounds
but
easy,
you
but it's
know
hard.
that there's that impetus there that, and you feel the movement in the beats, and then it's you need to say something, and it needs to hit in that one way that's going to release something.
Yeah.
And you know all the logic about it, but you suddenly don't know what that thing is, and you feel that absence, and it's horrifying.
I think
And then you say something that kind
Yeah.
of works, and people pity laugh, and it's heartbreaking.
with that said, I think we're getting another fax in.
Uh-oh.
Check it. Here it comes. Oh, it's a fax from
Ross.
He says,
I didn't know he knew how to work the fax.
yeah, I didn't know he knew how to work that fax either. He said, "Hey guys, I'm in Boise. Heard about Moscow. We made up. Everything's all right. I'll be back this week." And
So he and Moscow made up.
yeah, they made up. It says.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
Oh, look, is that a picture of them together?
Yeah, it's a picture of them together. And they look very happy together. And he says,
it's actually just a picture of Ross alone in Moscow, walking home.
That's all it is, though.
But he's smiling.
He's smiling in it, and he says he'll be back next week. And next week,
sounds great.
Again, we have Kim Barnes.
Perfect.
So
she knows a lot of secrets about Moscow too.
Yeah. So stay tuned
wait.
for that Thursday, 7:30. You're not going to want to miss it. And have a great night.
See you later.